Hello everyone, this is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. And yesterday we recorded, Sammy Thunder and John Mangini and I recorded a video that's going to appear tomorrow on the For Collectors channel. And it's about some rare issues, or Cuban issues, or foreign issues, but mainly, I shared some Cuban issue cards. So I'm just going to kind of go through a few of the sets, Cuban sets. Some of them are rarer than others, and even some American sets that are kind of rare too. But we'll start first with, one of the more popular ones that really isn't that rare, but the Caramelo Deportivo. And these cards are from, they issued these 2 different years. This is the 45-46, and they also did the 46 and 47. The 46 and 47 are rarer than these. So those are really, really low population, or like Petty says, low pop. But these are still pretty low pop considering they came from Cuba, where the weather there, was just always the humidity and heat would ruin most of these cards. Many of these were in albums, like this particular one, because you're wondering why is it a 1? Because it's a beautiful front. It's just missing it's got some paper loss here. And that's Martin Dihigo, and he played for Havana Club. And you can see these were Caramelo Deportivo, that's a candy issue. And these are really paper thin cards that were put into albums and stuck into albums. And I've shared Martin Dihigo. If you want to check out I encourage you to check out his background, his history, because he's the greatest Cuban player ever. And he was the, really like the Babe Ruth of Cuba, or Otani of Cuba. He pitched and hit, and he was the only player really to be in 5 Hall of Fames. So that's Martin Dihigo, and that's a 1946, 45-46 Caramelo Deportivo. And some other Cuban issues I want to share with you, and really this is a really, really rare one. This one I didn't show, I should have shown this one, but this is the 1956-57 Chicle Peloteros, and this is a Camilo Pascual. And these cards are also extremely rare. You're not going to see these very often. All these foreign cards are very, very difficult to come by. And I think that this is the only one graded. This is a Pop 1. And I think last time I checked, it was a Pop 1 PSA for the entire set. This was the only card, this entire set's the only card that's been graded. And it's the Camilo Pascual. So I'll give you a good look at that Camilo Pascual. And he's with Cienfuegos team here. You see that with the green and the green cap, the C. That's one of the big teams in Cuba at the time. And we'll take a look at the back here. And the back of this card will tell you information about him. And it says, that he played for Havana Cubans and all that stuff. And then it says in 1954 he was called up by the senators of Washington for the Americans, where he was one of the premier pitchers. So this is card number 29, Camilo Pascual, from the 1956-57 Chicle Peloteros. So Chicle is like a gum, and Peloteros is baseball players. And that's the Camilo Pascual. Another rare issue from Cuba. And again, all these are very low pop. So you're not gonna see many of these around there. And since I collect Cuban players, I'm sharing with you some of the Cuban players on these rare cards. So this is a 1926-27 Aguilitas. And this is the Adolfo Luque. And this set, you can see, look at the number is 777. I think there were, I don't remember exactly, 900 and something cards to this set. And the set contains baseball players, but also contains a lot of other types of figures and stuff like that. But this is the 1926-27 Aguilitas, and that's the Adolfo Luque. And as you can see, it's like a photo of Luque. And in the old days, they put baseball, 2 words, baseball. You can see was a picture. And the backs of these cards, and these came in cigarettes, so you can see that it's artistic series, Cigarros Aguilitas. And obsequido a sus favorecedores means that you can obtain it from your favorite vendors. And that's card number 777 of the Aguilitas set from 1926-27. And the thing about these sets, since they were in Cuba, where a lot of the Negro League players played, there are Negro League players in this set, and some of them are expensive, but you could, they're in this set because they all played in Cuba, the winter ball out there. So this is the 1926-27 Aguilitas. So now I'm going to show you the 1924-25 Aguilitas. And this one is a little bit rare, a little bit older. And this is Almeida, Rafael Almeida, and he played he played here in the United States, and he was the first Cuban player, along with Marsans, to play in the U.S. in 1912. But this is in 1924. This is where he played in Cuba. Again, all these are Cuban cards, and this one is number 855. And again, these were different series. And this particular one comes from the Richard Merkin collection. And Richard Merkin was one of the top Cuban collectors. He actually was an artist, but you can look into Richard Merkin, one of the top collectors in the world. And he sold off, I think, all of his collection years ago. And this is one of his cards. But if you look at these again, it's a photo of the player that is stuck onto the cardboard, but it's not very thick. They're not very thick, and since it's an actual photo, you can see what happens with the heat and stuff. It cracks it. So that's why these cards are so rare, because in Cuba, they just weren't really valued at the time, and they just were not really saved. This one looks like it was in an album. As you can see, there's still some glue stains on there, and it was torn off the album there. But these are so rare that, it really doesn't matter what condition. When you run into rare cards like this, the condition doesn't matter. It's about the card. As long as, this one's got a good picture in the front, pretty good eye appeal, and that's what I'm looking for pretty much. So that's the 24-25 Aguilitas. And in Cuba, they did a lot of different sets and cards. And one of the ones that is pretty famous are the Susini cards. And the Susini, 1915 Susinis, came out of Cuba. And this is the George Washington from the Universal album. But the thing with this is they were in different series. And there are some sports in here. And again, these are rare cards from Cuba. You don't see these very often. And most of these, just like in Venezuela and all that, these cards were always stuck on albums and are always going to be in low end condition because of the factors of the humidity and the weather. I mean, you're talking, from 1915, they didn't even have air conditioning, 100-degree, weather in the summer, rainy. It's just a miracle that many of these cards survived. And you can see this one was in an album. And you can see here, and it tells you in there, it's to put it in an album. So that's a sample of it. And there is a Tris speaker in this set, which John has, and John showed that. I don't have it here with me, but I do have the Tris speaker. But I have the other version of the Tris speaker. So anyway, that's the Susini, another rare issue. And again, all these are going to be low pop. cards. You're not going to see too many of these anywhere out there. And here's another example of one of the Susinis. And this is the Jose Marti. And Jose Marti was the George Washington of Cuba, basically. And again, all these are going to be in a, they were stuck in album. But you can see what they look like in the back there. So these are all pretty rare cards from Cuba. Let's show one more here. And this is the 1930 Baguette chocolate. And this is the smallest card out there. And this set, along with a lot of the sets from Cuba, they will have Hall of Famers in there. And this set has them. It's got, Walter Johnson, a bunch of other pretty big name guys in this set. But it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little card in a tiny little set that was distributed with one piece of chocolate. And let's take a good look at it. So this is a 1930. Again, the pops on these, there can't be any more than 3 or 4 of each of these cards out there, maybe 5 at the most. So, these are very, very low pop cards. But let's take a look at the look. Again, it's a photograph of the player. It's tough to look at. And this one, again, is missing a little paper because it came with a piece of, get a better look here. So you take a look here. There you go. It came with a piece of caramel or chocolate. And this is the Adolfo Luque. And it's a photograph stuck on a piece of cardboard, and I'll show you the back. And that's the back. And the back says chocolate Baguette el más popular, the most popular. So it's a tiny little card, and it came with a little piece of chocolate. And Hall of Famers are there, but it's very, like I said, it's a very, very rare set, and you won't see many of these out there. But the beauty of these things is they're still pretty inexpensive, considering that there's just very few of them out there. But many people just don't know about them. So that's the Baguette 1930 Baguette chocolate set. And some other sets that are pretty undervalued, some American sets made here in America, they're pretty undervalued, I think, that have Hall of Famers, and you just don't. You don't see them very much, is this, the Topps Magic Photo. And the Topps Magic Photo was the first Topps set ever made. It was not the 1951 game or the team photos that they have. It was the Topps Magic Photo in 1948. And again, this one was one that you would develop, and this is the Hannes Wagner. And you would develop this in the light, in the sunlight. Again, it's a tiny card. These are 2 of the smallest cards made. That's why people don't like them, probably. But they're very, very cool card, and you can see the back of it. And the back has like a little question on there, and it just, who was the starting fielder, played 2,785 games with the nickname Flying Dutchman. So of course that's Hannes Wagner, but you would look inside the wrapper to develop the picture. And this is number 11 of a 19. And I know John Mangini, I think, has the whole set, or pretty much the whole set. So this is the, again, another rare set. You don't see it very often, but there are Hall of Famers in this set. And this is the Hannes Wagner. And it's compared to the Baguette chocolate card. And you can see the size. It's just so much even smaller. The Baguette chocolate is so much smaller even than the Wagner. It's like, you can see that, how small that is. And you think that the Wagner looks big there, but if you compare it to another rare set, like the Tharp's ice cream, thing is a huge monster. So look at the size now. Here's the size of those. But this is another rare set, the ice cream sets. And there's really 4 different ones. There's the Harringtons, There's the Yinglings, and there's the Sweetmans. Now, Dave Blue Jacket did a whole video on that. I encourage you guys to go back and take a good look at that, because you know, he makes a good point about the Sweetman, whether the actual Sweetmans are an actual ice cream, you know, because the Sweetmans really may not be an ice cream, even though it's the same image. So it's very interesting. So these are the candy, these candy issues that I showed with the Bagheera chocolates and stuff, and these ice cream issues are really some of the rarest issues out there. I mean, you're only talking, you know, handfuls of these out there. I think that this Miguel Gonzalez Starps is a total pop of maybe 5, something like that. You know, again, some more rare cards, and you know, other than the Ruth, they're pretty affordable. You know, I mean, you're talking about $100 for this card here. You know, yeah, it's not the Ruth. The Ruth is going to be super expensive, but to get an example of some of these cards is always a good thing, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy about John Mangini's collection, because Mangini has, you know, a sample of all the cards from different years, and you know, it's just a nice thing to have and to go back and look at how the history of cards and how they've changed over the years and the different ways that they were distributed and the looks of every card. And it's just kind of neat to have this kind of variety. So anyway, thanks guys for hanging on to all my ramblings and stuff. Give you another good look at my Harrington's Ruth there. And well, you know, the difference between backs and these, there are differences, and you can see it there. This one's going to say that, you know, you get different prizes. You get different prizes. You see baseball star, surrender. So you get different prizes on the back. But overall, see, he doesn't even get a scooter. But all the pictures are the same. All the fronts are the same. There are a couple of variations. This Babe Ruth has some variations with the quotations and stuff, but for the most part, they're all rare, and there are very, very few of these around, you know, when you're talking about low pop cards. So thanks for watching, guys. It's Orlando from My Collector's Dream. Appreciate you listening to all my ramblings. Have an awesome, awesome day. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.